Look at the horizon over Tehran right now. That isn't a fireworks show. We are officially 48 hours away from a total escalation, and the strikes hitting the capital city tonight are just the beginning. If this deadline passes without a deal, everything changes. Stay focused because what happens next is unprecedented.
پودر کرد اونجا اون سوله‌ها رو آبیه رو دیده بودی؟ دوباره اومد یکی دیگه
Look closely at the skyline there. You can see the secondary flashes. That usually indicates they aren't just hitting empty buildings, but targeting specific military or communication hubs right in the heart of the city. It's wild to see downtown Tehran under this kind of pressure, while the diplomatic clock is literally ticking down on a screen in the Oval Office. You have to wonder what the mood is like on the ground when the sky turns that shade of orange at 3 a.m. Most people think these red lines are just political theater, but when you see the actual kinetic impact hitting a capital city, the Taco Trump narrative, as some like to call it, completely evaporates. This isn't just a warning shot, it's a systematic dismantling of their air defense perimeter. Pay attention to how quiet the surrounding blocks are. It's that eerie calm right before the next wave of strike packages comes through. We are watching a high-stakes chess game where the board is literally on fire. That right there is the Mashahar Petrochemical zone, and if those reports are accurate, 70% of Iran's gasoline supply just went up in that plume of black smoke. You can see the intensity of the thermal signature. That kind of heat isn't just a small industrial accident. It's a precision hit on the jugular of their economy. Think about the logistics for a second. Without that fuel, the entire internal supply chain for their military ground vehicles starts to seize up. It's a surgical strike designed to paralyze movement before the 48-hour deadline even hits zero. When you see fire that thick, it tells you the storage tanks were at full capacity, making the loss even more devastating for the regime. It's one thing to threaten an oil embargo, but it's a completely different level of epic fury to physically remove the infrastructure from the map. Look at the scale of that facility compared to the fire. It's absolutely massive, and now it's essentially a parking lot of scrap metal. Check out the phrasing on this post. All hell will rain down. That's not typical diplomatic speak. That's a direct, final warning. The deadline of April 6th is set in stone, and we're seeing a pattern here where every time a deadline gets extended, more hardware moves into the region. It's like watching a storm front move in. While the negotiators are arguing over terms in some back room, the actual tactical reality is being dictated by these timestamps. You've got to catch the art of the deal logic being applied here in real time. He's creating a lose-lose scenario for the opposition, where the only out is a total concession on the Strait of Hormuz. People always underestimate the leverage created by a ticking clock. But when you pair that clock with the strikes we just saw in Mashahar, the pressure becomes unbearable. It's a masterclass in brinkmanship, and we are currently at the highest point of that ladder. The next 48 hours will determine the next decade of Middle Eastern policy. This is a wild subplot that most people are completely missing. While the bombs are falling, the State Department is clearing house internally. Revoking the green cards for the Suleimani family members, people who have been living in the U.S. for 5 years, is a massive symbolic and legal middle finger to the IRGC. It shows that the no safe haven policy is being applied even to the relatives of former high-ranking officials who are outspoken against the U.S. It's a total shift in domestic policy that mirrors the aggression we're seeing overseas. Catch the detail here. They weren't just asked to leave, they are in ICE custody pending removal. It's a clear message that the Great Satan rhetoric has consequences, especially when the country you're criticizing is the one providing your legal status. It's another layer of the maximum pressure campaign that targets the regime's elite where it hurts, their lifestyle and their families' safety abroad. Good riddance is an understatement here. It's a strategic cleansing of foreign influence during a time of active conflict.
This is a huge site, by the way. Additionally, overnight, the IAF, the Israeli Air Force, destroying 200+% of Iran's steel production capacity has been destroyed, and last night he said we attacked their
Look at the spread of these targets on the map. Over 200 infrastructure points across Iran and another 140 in Lebanon. That's a coordinated, multi-front dismantling of the resistance network. When Netanyahu says 70% of their steel production is gone, he's talking about the industrial backbone required to build more missiles. It's not just about hitting the launchers, it's about hitting the factories that make the launchers. This three-pronged war is designed to leave the regime with absolutely zero leverage by the time Monday morning rolls around. If they don't have power, they don't have water, and they don't have fuel, they aren't a regional power anymore. They're a survivalist state. The precision of these strike packages is honestly terrifying when you see it laid out like this. Every single dot on that map represents a major blow to their ability to sustain a long-term war. The countdown isn't just for a deal, it's a countdown for the existence of their modern infrastructure as they know it. The clock is at 48 hours and counting. Drop a comment below if you think the deadline holds, and make sure you're subscribed. I'll be here when the clock hits 0.